Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes Hong Kong cyclist Leung to step into coaching role after Asian Games race. Taiwan records one of the most powerful wind gusts ever as Typhoon Koinu strikes. Uganda C.Bank holds rate, says stance will keep inflation around target. Morning update, Ottawa seeks to scale back outsourcing with new guidelines. 76% of new talent from outside Hong Kong want city schools for children. Hong Kong cyclist Leung to step into coaching role after Asian Games race. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong cyclist Leung Chunwing has finished his illustrious career and will now focus on coaching. After crossing the line in 29th place in the men's road race, Leung said it was time to step aside and let the youngsters take over. He plans to pass on his experience as an athlete to help the next generation of cyclists perform better. Leung has had a successful career, winning gold at the Asian Games and a silver in the men's Madison. He believes that Hong Kong cyclists need to be realistic and reflect on their shortcomings in order to improve for future competitions. Taiwan records one of the most powerful wind gusts ever as Typhoon Koinu strikes. Telegraph. Typhoon Koinu has hit Taiwan, causing damage and injuring nearly 200 people. The storm brought winds of up to 212 miles per hour, which is one of the strongest gusts ever recorded on the island. The typhoon knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of homes and caused damage across Taiwan. Climate change is believed to have made the paths of tropical storms harder to predict and increased their intensity. The typhoon is now moving towards China's southeastern coast and Hong Kong. Uganda C.Bank holds rate, says stance will keep inflation around target. Reuters. Uganda's central bank has decided to maintain its main lending rate at 9.5%. The Bank of Uganda believes that its current monetary policy stance will help keep inflation near its medium-term target. The country's economic growth is being driven by a recovery in the service sector, and the bank expects growth to remain strong in the coming months, supported by investments in the extractive industries and higher export earnings. International oil companies such as TotalEnergies and CNOOC are making significant investments in Uganda's oilfield infrastructure and an oil export pipeline. Morning update, Ottawa seeks to scale back outsourcing with new guidelines. The Globe and Mail. The Canadian government has announced new guidelines aimed at reducing the use of outside consultants. The move is part of an effort to cut around $15 billion from existing spending plans. Treasury Board President Anita Anand will release a new manager's guide for public servants responsible for outsourcing and procurement, following allegations of misconduct at the Canada Border Services Agency. The agency had received warnings about close links between IT consultants and federal officials. 76% of new talent from outside Hong Kong want city schools for children. South China Morning Post. More than 75% of talent recruited from outside Hong Kong want their children to study in local primary and secondary schools, according to a survey by the Hong Kong Federation of Education Workers and the Top Talent Services Association. More than two-thirds of respondents said their children would attend a government-funded school, while just over 18% said they would prefer their children to complete their education in their home countries. The survey findings have prompted calls for education authorities to make more accurate estimates of pupil numbers, given the expected influx of children with their parents relocating to Hong Kong. Asian Games, Hong Kong's Chan falls short in bid for squash gold. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong table tennis player Chan Sinyak won a silver medal at the Asian Games, losing to Malaysia's Sivasanggari Subramaniam in a closely contested final. Subramaniam fought back every time Chan took the lead and eventually won the match 8-11, 15-13, 10-12, 11-9, 12-10. Chan admitted that she lacked confidence in attacking and did not have the determination to take advantage of the situation. Despite the disappointment, Hong Kong's team manager, Peter Genever, was pleased with the team's overall performance, which included a total of 6 medals. Chinese developer Sunak makes debt restructuring breakthrough. Financial Times. Chinese developer Sunac has received court approval to restructure around $10 billion of debt, becoming one of the first distressed Chinese real estate companies to do so. The plan, which was approved by a judge in Hong Kong, involves issuing new notes and convertible bonds to creditors. The approval comes as China's property sector continues to struggle, driven by developer defaults. Heavily indebted developer Evergrande missed interest payments in 2021, sparking a liquidity crisis in the sector. However, its restructuring plan was derailed after the company said it could no longer issue new notes due to an investigation. Explainer: what is the UK's Rwanda migrant deportation plan? Reuters. The UK government will appeal a ruling that declared its plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda unlawful. The plan, which was designed to deter asylum seekers from making the dangerous journey across the English Channel, involved deporting individuals who arrived illegally after January 2021 to Rwanda, where their claims would be assessed. The Court of Appeal concluded that Rwanda could not be treated as a safe third country, prompting the government's appeal to the UK Supreme Court. The case will be heard over 3 days, with a decision expected in a few months. Full of Beans, a guide to Vancouver's stellar coffee scene. Financial Times. Vancouver is known for its excellent coffee scene, with numerous cafes and roasters offering high-quality brews. The city's obsession with coffee can be traced back to the influx of Italian immigrants after World War II, who brought their espresso drinking traditions with them. Starbucks also played a role in popularizing coffee culture in Vancouver, although local roasters have since taken center stage. Today, the city is filled with cafes serving single origin, pour-over, and artisanal coffee. Novella Coffee Bar, a cafe in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood, is the latest venture from the team behind Michelin-starred restaurant Published on Main. The cafe offers a range of pastries, brunch dishes, and high-quality coffee made with beans sourced from House of Funk, a local roastery. Timbertrain Coffee Roasters, beloved by Vancouver coffee snobs, specializes in pour-over coffee. The cafe sources its beans directly from producers around the world and roasts them in-house. Timbertrain also offers a small selection of pastries and sandwiches. Kafka's Coffee is located in Vancouver's newest urban green space, Rainbow Park. The cafe serves excellent espresso drinks made with their signature espresso blend. Breakfast is served all day, and the food menu includes a variety of sandwiches. Palette Coffee Roasters was founded in 2014 and has become one of the top roasters in the city. Palette's cafes offer great coffee, delicious sandwiches, and a bright and spacious atmosphere. Finally, Revolver is a hip coffee shop located in Vancouver's historic Gastown neighborhood. The cafe offers a variety of interesting and exciting coffees from local and global roasters. In conclusion, Vancouver's coffee scene is thriving, with numerous cafes and roasters offering high-quality brews. Coffee enthusiasts in the city have a range of options to choose from, whether they prefer pour-over, single origin, or artisanal coffee. Sunac China wins court approval for plan to repay $10.2 billion to creditors. South China Morning Post. Sunac China Holdings has had its $10.2 billion debt restructuring approved by a Hong Kong court, paving the way for offshore creditors to recover money after several defaults on dollar-denominated bonds. Sunac is believed to be the first defaulted Chinese developer to win court consent to a restructuring, ahead of its peers. China's property sector has seen more than $100 billion of bond defaults since the government's 3 red lines policy caused financial distress to home builders. Sunac's shares surged as much as 12% on the approval, and have more than doubled over the past 5 weeks. England considers raising smoking age until cigarettes are banned entirely. Washington Post. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has proposed a plan to gradually raise the legal smoking age in the UK by 1 year each year. Under the proposal, children born after 2008 would never be allowed to legally purchase tobacco products, even when they become adults. The plan is part of a wider global crackdown on tobacco and vaping, with countries such as New Zealand, Australia, and Hong Kong introducing measures to restrict access to tobacco and vaping products. Sun's proposal aims to create a smoke-free generation by phasing out smoking among young people by 2040. Volvo Cars September sales rise 25%, demand up in China. Reuters. Volvo Cars has reported a 25% increase in sales for September compared to the previous year, with a total of 61,666 cars sold. The sales growth was driven by increased demand in China, the US, and Europe. Sales in the US were up 65%, in Europe up 32%, and in China up 4%. Additionally, sales of fully electric cars increased by 52%, accounting for 15% of all cars sold in the month. Volvo Cars, which is majority-owned by China's Geely Holding, aims for double-digit retail sales growth for the full year. Asian Games most heartwarming moments as diver Quan, 16, regifts turtle toy. South China Morning Post. The Hangzhou Asian Games have seen moments of kindness and support amidst the competition and rivalries. Chinese teen diving gold medalist Quan Hongchan regifted a turtle toy thrown to her by a fan to her coach, and China's women's basketball team exchanges gifts with their opponents after almost every game. The crowd also showed love and admiration for 48-year-old Uzbekistan gymnast Oksana Chusovitina. Chinese League of Legends competitor Zhao Jiaho received a surprise birthday song after winning bronze. Hong Kong gymnast Angel Wang Huiying received words of comfort from her chef de mission after a disappointing performance. Evergrande crisis tests Beijing's fallout management as creditor jitters mount. Reuters. China Evergrande Group's ongoing crisis has led some creditors, investors, and analysts to believe that Beijing will intervene to manage the fallout. The collapse of the heavily indebted developer could have significant consequences for China's economy, as there are hundreds of thousands of unfinished homes across the country and around $300 billion of liabilities. While Beijing has not yet directly bailed out any property developers that have defaulted on debt obligations, the criminal investigation into Evergrande's founder suggests that the central government will take control and formulate new plans to manage the situation. Belgium's intelligence service monitors Alibaba hub in Europe over espionage concerns FT. Reuters. Belgium's intelligence service has reportedly been monitoring Alibaba's main logistics hub in Europe over concerns of potential espionage. The Belgian State Security Service, BSSE, is said to be working to detect possible espionage or interference activities by Chinese entities, including Alibaba. The VSSE has expressed concern over legislation that forces Chinese companies to share data with Chinese authorities and intelligence services. Alibaba denies any wrongdoing. That's all for today's news update from the six-dimensional world. I'm Dr. Six, and I hope you enjoyed the stories I shared with you. Now let's dive into a quick summary and analysis. In Hong Kong, cyclist Leung Chunwing has retired from his illustrious career and will now focus on coaching. He believes that Hong Kong cyclists need to be realistic and reflect on their shortcomings to improve in future competitions. Meanwhile, Taiwan has been hit by Typhoon Koinu, bringing one of the most powerful wind gusts ever recorded on the island. Climate change is believed to have increased the intensity of tropical storms. Moving to Uganda, the central bank has decided to maintain its main lending rate at 9.5% and expects strong economic growth in the coming months, driven by investments in the extractive industries. In Canada, the government is introducing new guidelines to reduce the use of outside consultants as part of its cost-cutting efforts. And in Hong Kong, a survey shows that over 75% of talent recruited from outside the city want their children to study in local schools. In sports news, Hong Kong table tennis player Chan Sinyak won a silver medal at the Asian Games, while Chinese teen diving gold medalist Quan Hongchan regifted a turtle toy to her coach, showing moments of kindness and support amidst the competition. Finally, Chinese developer Sunac has received court approval to restructure its $10.2 billion debt, becoming one of the first distressed Chinese real estate companies to do so. Now, let's hear your thoughts. What do you think about these news stories? Do you agree with Leung Chunwing's advice for Hong Kong cyclists? How do you think climate change is affecting tropical storms? And what are your views on the Canadian government's efforts to reduce the use of outside consultants? Join the discussion and let us know your thoughts. That's all for today, folks. Remember, in the six-dimensional world, there's always more to explore and discuss. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.